The controversial final Queensland leg of the Melbourne to Brisbane inland rail line has been announced. The federal government says it will cross the Condamine floodplain, despite warnings from farmers that it could put lives at risk. As Alexandra Blucher reports, 4 proposed routes were in the running.
There was a review process that was sparked by landholder concerns. Initially, they were choosing a route that is called the base case, and that is a varied route to what was decided today. Now, the decision was made after a long consultation process with landholders in the regions, and Darren Chester, the Infrastructure Minister, today said that the decision to go through the Condamine floodplains, through the Millmerran farmland area, up to Toowoomba and past an international airport was made because it's the shortest transit time, but also it's a comparatively cheaper line to what the preferred route was at the start of the year. Now, there is some concern, obviously, from the farmers along the floodplain because it's been devastated in the past by floods. Now, Malcolm Turnbull, Prime Minister, was here in Queensland today, and he has ensured that those risks will be mitigated.
It obviously goes across a floodplain, but the engineering measures and design will take all that into account so that it doesn't adversely affect whether, either property owners or environmental interests by, changing the way water flows.
I've been out to the floodplains and spoken to those farmers, and essentially it's an area that was devastated in 2010 and is known for having very bad floods. So it's a floodplain where water comes from Toowoomba, from the Condamine floodplains, from Warwick, and it all meets in this area where there's a 20-kilometre long floodplain where the rail line will go. And what they're saying is in 2010, the rail line actually moved 6 metres and has been closed since then. And they've been told by ARTC, the proponent of the inland rail, that a 2.5 metre high embankment will be built with culverts underneath to try to pass water through when the floods are quite severe. But what they're saying is that a lot of debris gets caught inside these pipes, and if that happens, it could create a damming effect, and houses that had never been flooded before could potentially be flooded. Now, one of those farmers that we spoke to is Brett Kelly, and he farms, he's a grain grower at Pampas on the floodplains, and he says it's particularly dangerous.
It could definitely put lives at risk. People who may have been going to hole up and see it through might suddenly panic and try and get out and get stuck in very deep water.
It's the final decision, but pending state approvals. So along each section of the line, each state government between Melbourne and Brisbane in various sections have to provide state approvals. So there'll be an environmental impact statement process. So if that all goes well for the government, then it will go ahead in that area. Now, Darren Chester, Infrastructure Minister, has said basically that there will still be a detailed design phase for the line. All of these state approvals still need to go through, but this is essentially the final decision on the route that they will be properly investigating.
Alexandra Blucher there with that report.